You are listening to a Dynamicworksproductions podcast. This show is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Network, and many, many more podcast services around the world. You can find all our content, music, videos, books, podcasts, and more on our website, www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Have questions, comments, or concerns for us? Head on over to the social tab on www.dynamicworksproductions.com if you'd like to talk to us. Now, on with the show. Welcome to a special episode of the Fork in Your Ear podcast. I'm your host, as always, author, podcaster, and gamer, Tim K. Trotter. Joining me today is the one, the only, Nate Fu. And we literally lost him right before we started recording this show. OG, one of the original trio of fathers of the Fork in Your Ear podcast, Self-Made Dame, or Damian Newman, was going to be on the show, but his woman called. And duty called.
Now, wasn't there also another person that was supposed to be in on this?
No. Daniel showing up there was just random.
No, Rec.
Oh, that's Dame.
Oh, okay.
Self-Made Dame, Recognize.
Gotcha.
And
Different
Dame,
names inside and outside the channels.
That's all him.
Gotcha.
He's one of those lovely weirdos who's changed his handle a couple of times on the internet.
Because I see both names tagged in our Discord.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. I had double tag come up, and I think it's because I put it in the system as he's Dame for my own convenience. Because
in your effort to not confuse yourself, you confused your co-host.
Yep, that's about right.
All good.
That is
now I know
about right.
Now I know. And here's an ad for Luna.
Right. Ridiculous. This is a special episode because we actually just watched the 2021 Game Awards live, and we were discording about it. If you want to get on the action too on the 14 Year Podcast official Discord, hop on over to the 14 Year Podcast on Discord, or find us on Twitter. I think I have it tagged in my handle, or go to our website, Dynamicworksproductions.com, and follow the link, which I believe I fixed. And if not,
goody.
Tweet at me about it.
Right.
Which you can find me on my handle, Tim_T, or
which you can find through the Get Forked Pod.
Yeah, or
Twitter handle
at Good Fork Pod as well. We just watched the Game Awards. It just wrapped up a few minutes ago. And we're gonna go through it.
We have opinions.
We have many opinions. We wrote a lot of stuff down, actually, which is surprising for this show. First one up is Tunic, the lovely little fox in beautiful Pixar-esque art Zelda clone. And proper top-down Zelda, just for those wondering, is officially coming to Xbox on March 16th. One could assume PC as well, and no other platforms were listed at that time.
Right.
It might be a timed exclusive if I'm not.
And this is my first time seeing the game. Where did this originally play at?
Oh God, it's been in E3s and like PAX, like indie booths and stuff like that for like 5 years. It's made by like 4 dudes or something. It's like another one of those crazy games that's like amazing, but it's like takes like a decade because it's like some dude's passion project, and then another dude joins and it becomes their passion project kind of thing. But I've been looking forward to it because I'm like, anytime somebody apes the Zelda formula and then does it well,
Yeah, I mean, it looked phenomenal. I like the graphic style that they chose.
Yeah, it's like a cute Pixar-y looking DreamWorks animation-ish, bright poppy colors, interesting designs that aren't like overly intricate.
Right,
I guess might be the word.
Definitely chill out and turn your brain off to this game, and just kind of roam around the area.
Yes, although I'm sure you probably couldn't roam too far without encountering a puzzle, since it's a Zelda clone. So I'm stoked for it. I believe Dame is stoked for it as well. We're speaking for Dame because we just talked to him. We heard his reactions. We've got notes. So we're speaking for him. So, I could totally be a dick right now and attempt to imitate Dame and be like, ho, 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 you got to be quicker than that.
Yeah, now you'd just be doing him a disservice at that point.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, you're doing me dirty, Tim. And I was like, yeah, that's for fucking killing me all the time on fucking First Class Trouble.
Right, you might get a strongly worded email to your supervisor from him.
Oh, yeah. Well, I am the supervisor, so suck a D. Okay, anyway, moving on. So the first award, which you kindly were doing amazing. You could be a professional live tweeter. It was fantastic, Nate. Holy
I wanted to get him down. That way we could go do exactly what we're doing now. So we'll back up and go, all right, starting from the top. Games for Impact. Life is Strange 2 Colors.
Yeah. So I think this got one because they had a bunch of like inclusionary stuff for the LGBTQ community. And then also because it's like the main character is also adopted and then also Asian. And
ticked a lot of boxes.
Yeah, it did. And unfortunately, this is the only award that Life is Strange won this evening, which I think was a little bit snubbed, in my opinion, because it was a fantastic game, expertly written, beautiful flow. And then the chick whose name I forget, even though they showed her at the Game Awards, who played the lead, is also a singer in real life, and she did a song in the game, and it was like
Ellie.
No, not Ellie.
No,
different chick who played the Asian chick in Life is Strange: True Colors, who's the main character you play. Gotcha. She sings in real life, and she did a song for the game, and it was like a big thing that they got her or something because she'd not done acting or stuff like that before. But her performance was fucking. She's a first time actor, like could have fucking fooled me, kind of situation. So I'm telling y'all, go play Life is Strange: True Colors. It's fantastic. Yeah, and then as you said, Game Awards apparently brought to you by Amazon Luna.
And Amazon Stadia.
And if you're, yeah, that's pretty much exactly what it is. It's Amazon's Stadia.
And the ads kind of came off the same way too.
Yeah. It was also like, and you're like, huh, what's Amazon Luna?
Right? That's why I mean, it's like, what is this Luna? Well, it's a way to play games.
Indeed.
Okay, Stadia.
And then I was yelling at you for being 5 seconds ahead of me at all times.
Right.
Throughout the whole fucking show.
Get wrecked with your pleb internet.
I mean, I guess. I guess that's what it is. So we had Tribes of Midgard that had some weird cel-shaded isometric acid trippy lookingness.
Right.
I don't think there was a release date on that. What threw me off was the Risk of Rain 2, because I could have swore Risk of Rain 1 was a pixel art side-scrolling survivor sim, and this was like a full 3D co-op survival thing. I was very thrown off. Let's see, then what did we have? We had, I guess, for some reason, the Game Awards pulled Reddit, and Reddit's Game of the Year was Resident Evil 8, which is interesting. Nothing against Resident Evil. Big fan of the series. Haven't played 8 yet.
Right.
Yeah. So got nothing on that one particularly timely to say. since I'm behind the times on it.
Yeah, I mean, Reddit may be the most impartial or most inclusive or most, I don't know, the best poll of an actual gaming community, and not like.
Well, it's interesting because there's voting for the Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
So there's critic votes, which were the top ones in the last hour there, and then a lot of the other stuff is user voted. Via Twitter or Facebook and all kinds of different. There's a bunch of different sources, and there's a login now for Game Awards.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it goes. So what about that? What about that game that you're such a fan of? This King of Fighters 15, huh?
You know what? I'm burnt out by fighting games and the fucking over the top anime mechanics now. Like every single game, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If you don't know the proper 27 button combo
Mm-hmm.
to Kamehameha,
Yeah.
while tagging in 3 of your team at the same time, good luck playing.
Right.
So yeah, I'm kind of over it. Like King of Fighters was just, to me it was just another, okay, it's generic fighter, another Street Fighter, another whatever. What was the Neo Geo equivalent?
SNK Fighter.
Yes, there you go.
Or wait, is King of Fighter SNK? Okay, go to Google, start talking stuff.
But yeah, no, like I've kind of lost interest in a lot of fighting games just because, I think the last one that's still really unique is Mortal Kombat.
It is indeed SNK, King of Fighters.
Yeah, okay.
So that is the one.
That's why it reminds me of it.
Hey, at least it reminded you of the right thing, right? Instead of like, oh, what is this? It doesn't remind me of anything of the game. Sort of situation. So that's cool.
And then we got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre trailer.
Yeah. It's going to be another asymmetrical horror game in the vein of let me take a deep breath. Nope, not Dead by Daylight. Wrong one. Oh wait, no, Dead by Daylight. Yes. Right one. I'm thinking of Dying Light for some reason, since there was a trailer for that. That's what I was thinking of, because I actually care about Dying Light. Unlike this Texas Chainsaw Massacre game that's in the vein of Friday the 13th, Predator Hunting Grounds,
right?
Dead by Daylight.
Are you going to be able to play Leatherface, or are you going to be constantly running from?
I mean, I'm pretty sure somewhere in there it said asymmetrical multiplayer horror game. So I don't know. I could Google it right now. There might be more information.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of wasted time on a game that didn't have that big a presence.
Right. Look kind of cool.
Game.
And then we got your
well, Google did me dirty. It brought up the Atari 2600 game from 1983, published by Wizard Video.
Wow.
All right, moving on.
So your first cocaine fix.
Oh yes.
Homeworld.
Yeah, Nate got to experience how I actually am at these events, even though I've attempted to do some live recordings of these, but I just never put them out because they're garbage. For those who don't know, I'm a big Homeworld fan. It is the best, not even a question, RTS game of all time. Yes, even over StarCraft. They officially announced Homeworld 3 with a big-ass bombastic trailer that looks gorgeous. Which is not surprising because in its day it pushed all the computers to its limits. But
that's an RTS game?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So the thing about Homeworld is that it is not like StarCraft RTS. It is a full 3D RTS. So you're moving in 3 dimensions, all of your space units and stuff.
All Command and Conquer of that kind of like, right?
No, it would be a la Homeworld.
Okay.
You see where I'm going with this? This is its shtick. They were like, you know what? Let's do 3D space because everybody's doing top-down 2D. You know, And then the thing is that they do it really well, and nobody's been able to replicate their level of control, which is honestly insane, given the fact that it's been a long time.
Not knowing anything from the series and this being, probably the first piece of media I've seen on the series, I would have never thought that it was an RTS.
Yeah, yeah, that's true, I guess. Yeah, thinking about the trailer and you not knowing that it's Homeworld, be like, oh yeah, it looks like a cool space flight game, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nope.
I would have been like, oh, kind of like Descent or something like that.
Yep, not at all.
Not at all. I would have been sorely disappointed had I purchased that based off the trailer.
Sure. And I mean, that's probably why they went with that trailer too. Because I mean, it's been it's been 20 years since Homeworld 2. Has it been 20 years now? It might have been 20 years now.
I mean, that's 2001. That really doesn't feel like that long ago when you think when you hear it. It's been 20 years.
Homeworld 2, 2003. So
yeah,
not fucking quite.
Holy shit balls.
Right? Yeah, no, super good. For those who don't know, gist of Homeworld is you're a space flotilla fleet, story-wise, usually from some kind of fucking invasion thing, like your planet got blown up, you got lost in space, you warped wrong, and it's your job to make it back to your homeworld. That's basically the premise in every Homeworld game. You're searching for the homeworld, so Battlestar Galactica-ish style. And actually, Battlestar Galactica is probably its closest facsimile, because one of the things that's unique to Homeworld is there's permanence of your fleet from map to map or level to level. So if you fuck up really bad on some early levels, and you're not, you didn't mine enough resources, you didn't do your diligence, you could find yourself in an unwinnable scenario later in the game. It's what led to this wild replayability of it too.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and
it'd be tragic if you didn't know that ahead of time as well.
Yeah, try telling that to 2003 me. So yeah, no, I'm super excited. It's coming 2022 at some point. I'll be there probably day one because it's been a long time and I got a gaming PC now. So fuck yeah, let's go.
Nice, yeah.
And then this also brings me to my obligatory statement of when the fuck is Homeworld Mobile coming? It's been fucking teased that it's coming out in summer and beta every fucking summer for 4 years now, and it's ridiculous. We're gonna get a real Homeworld game before we get this fucking mobile game. Ridiculous.
Maybe they'll just put it on Game Pass and they'll call it a day.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
They'll just put touch controls on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Could be. Why not? I don't know. Then we were yelling at Twitch and YouTube because Nate was on Twitch and we were all experiencing lag.
Right, yeah. I was 5 seconds perpetually ahead of them, and this was after they switched to Twitch.
Yeah.
I think I was a good 20 seconds ahead of you when you were on YouTube, and I don't know where Dame was, but like with the feedback, I was like, I think you're like 35 seconds behind. Because he was complaining that you were ahead of him.
Right. So it goes. And did you want to get this next one that you posted? And I think you were the only one who even saw it. I think I ran to the bathroom here. Since we're covering the whole fucking thing.
Scrolling down.
Esports.
Oh, yeah. I just kind of put them in there just because they mention them. But yeah, esports athlete, simple, esports team, Natus Vincier, esports coach, Coma, and best event, esports event was the 2020 League of Legends. Yeah, so those people won.
Yeah,
I'll acknowledge it. I'm sure it was a great achievement. I don't know any of the names other than I know what League of Legends is because the acronym is LOL.
And then I freaked out because they announced a Telltale Games The Expanse game, starring Kara, whatever her last name is, who's the I'm fucking blanking on her role in The Expanse. It's everybody's favorite gruff belter. chick. And I watched the trailer again actually just before we jumped on, because I watched a handful of trailers again with Jessica. I was surprised, that Jessica said, "Fuck this game, I'm never playing it," because she loves The Expanse. And I was like, "What? It stars your favorite character." She's like, "Don't care, fuck it." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because it's Telltale." And I was like, "Well, Telltale's just a publishing brand now. They're not a real developer anymore." And then she's like, "Don't care. Never buying anything from Telltale again from the way they did their employees." And I was like, "Okay, I understand that. But they're literally a different company now."
Right.
And then 2, in watching the trailer, I was shocked by whose name popped up on the game, which also tells me that the game's going to be really, really fucking good. Because it said Deck 9 is the developer, and Deck 9, well, they just won Games for Impact with Life is Strange: True Colors.
Right.
So I was like, "Oh, I'm even more excited now. Fuck yes." So yeah, that's super cool. So I'm super excited for the Expanse game coming next year. Looks like it's quite far along, actually.
Right. And if you're listening, that's the only way you're going to hear this, anyways.
Right.
What am I thinking? If you're listening to this now,
you're thinking of the day where we get paid for this,
right? No, I do so many other things I do, and it's got a live stream to it that it's if you're watching, you can't pause. But yeah, if you're listening to this in your car, or somewhere where you can not crash, pause, go watch this Expanse trailer.
Yeah,
and then come back and finish the episode, please. But
it's good.
It took off, and I'm going, what am I watching? And I hear, they start talking belters. I'm going, no.
Yeah,
No.
I heard Belta, and I was like, hold up.
Right.
I'm already going to have to prepare for the emotional devastation that is the end of The Expanse this month with the final season on Amazon.
I'm behind on it.
Oh, okay. No worries.
I think I made it to season 3.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, 3 more seasons to go.
Yes. Definitely want to catch up on that one.
Yeah.
Hard to watch when you have kids.
Yeah, I bet. That's a hard one, too. It's pretty violent.
There's a lot of shows that I've fallen off of because the girls want to walk in the room, and it's like, well, I'm shutting this off now and putting on Blippi.
See, I don't know what Blippi is. I don't want to know until I have a child.
And any parent listening to this right now is going, oh, I feel you, dude.
I bet. Then Dame was saying and hoping that there was going to be a Perfect Dark trailer. Spoiler alert, he was completely wrong. Didn't get any of that. Then there was this weird game called Thirsty Suitors. And it was, I don't know, it was like a skateboarding game mixed with like a Indian, like of the country flair and or people, and you're a chick trying to get a suitor. What?
I don't know what I was watching.
Me neither. And I said it multiple times. It's like, what is this? I don't understand what I'm looking at. What is this? So, if you're into skateboarding and
skating,
suitor simulators, I guess.
Skate and cook your way through love.
Oh yeah, and there was like some
suitors.
There was like some cooking shit in the game. Like, what?
Yeah.
Who's this for? And I'm not trying to be mean or anything. Like, okay, cool, good for that team, I guess. But
it's an RPG with turn-based battles that involve skateboarding.
Does it say that?
And cooking.
What?
Yeah, this is the Steam.
What?
The Steam description. Thirsty Suitors is a stylish story-driven adventure that unfolds through turn-based battles, skateboarding, and cooking.
Yo. Why? I mean, unless it's like a passion project. I don't know.
Just because you can do something,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they can chalk that up to it's an actual original idea that nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, who knows? Moving on, because we have a fuck ton of stuff to cover.
Evil West,
Evil West,
which I'm dubbing as Hillbilly Darksiders,
which I think is appropriate. Co-op Hillbilly Darksiders,
Mhm.
third-person shooter. Actually, I thought the art style looked really cool. I don't have anything else to say on it.
It looked great, and I love Darksiders. If they ever finish the whole series, my wife will, play them all the way through. But what, they only got the 3 of them?
3 in a Diablo-ish spinoff, right?
Right.
Fair enough.
So
I've not played the Darksiders. Everybody tells me I should because it's a Zelda clone.
I wouldn't quite go that far, but yeah, I mean it's a good series.
Very
Like
nice.
even I had fun playing it, and I'm not a big fan of walking simulators,
Okay.
but
Fair enough.
it was
I mean,
easy to learn.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
not really hard to master.
Okay, fair enough.
Right, but it still wasn't something you could sit down and beat in an afternoon.
Fair enough.
So
we both watched a trailer for a thing that didn't really show much gameplay, but it had fucking amazing art and a cool style called Have a Nice Death.
It was so adorable.
It's really adorable. I'm not gonna lie, it's adorable.
Absolutely adorable.
Super.
Like, I will.
Yeah.
I will get this game just so that I can play it.
Yep.
Like it could be the most difficult. It could be Cuphead again.
Yeah.
Where you want to pull your hair out, but it just looked so damn good.
No idea what the game is.
It looked like it played.
Oh, actually, no. There was some gameplay. I'm stupid.
Yeah. It looked like it played like a Ori Will-O-Wisps.
Yeah, like a Metroidvania light, maybe, or it's a side-scrolling action game. Hard to tell. Speaking of that, they ended out the next award, Best Audio Design of the Year, goes to Forza Horizon 5.
I will agree with that. It had some pretty stiff competition.
Agreed.
I think.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank should have won that one.
That's interesting to me that you say that, given that you don't have a PlayStation, and to my knowledge, you don't play.
People stream it.
Okay, fair enough, and that's fair.
If you can gauge spatial during a Twitch stream, you're doing your audio design right.
Sure.
Right.
Well, and for me, like Forza was amazing right off the rip, from sound to everything. Everything about Forza is fucking amazing.
Yeah. There was never a sound that was out of place, and there was never a sound that didn't come from where it should have.
Sure. And I will say, since we're recording this December 9th, immediately after the Game Awards, and yesterday, Halo Infinite came out. We all know what kind of person I am. Had Halo Infinite come out, in the able to be applicable to the Game Awards period, I would have voted for it as best sound, pretty much hands down. From the soundtrack to the way the weapons sound to the world, the sound design is fucking impeccable. And I'm hunting down these data pads because there's things to hunt for now, and they make this specific noise, and I thought I was following this specific noise, and it turns out it's just a fucking space woodland creature. And I'm like, okay, that's good sound design. That just happened to make a similar chirping noise, but isn't. And I'm like, oh, it's a space gopher. Okay.
Nice.
And then I've also maybe cried a couple of times with the way the music hits you in the game. So
I mean, that is one thing that Halo has always gotten down was the soundtrack.
I mean, it's really potent.
Right?
I'll tell you that right now. Moving on. Dame's vote was for Resident Evil Village, which is not surprising and would have been my guess too, because given that A, Resident Evil games have really fucking good sound, and B, it's a horror game. So not only do they generally have better sound, but it's a huge portion of the game.
Right.
Because if you don't have creepy sound,
again,
then it's not creepy.
It's part of the gameplay. It's not even just a portion of it. It is part of. And again, if you have a sound that's out of place in something like Resident Evil, the game becomes unplayable,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So again, fair assessment. That was a pretty strong category. Like all of the entries in that were just like this could go to any of them, and I'm not going to be sad.
Well, and I think sound design is not only so important, but also now that all the new consoles, minus obviously Switch, are doing 3D spatial high fidelity audio.
Right.
We're hearing stuff as people intended it or how it was recorded by the recording artist. If it's a sampled sound, so we're entering this era now where sonic stuff, it just hits differently nowadays.
And even a lot of earbuds and even the Bluetooth stuff is getting Atmos put into it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
For notes here, Dame had runner-up at Ratchet. This year's Ratchet had amazing sound design, especially with the headset. So the clarity was dope. Then we saw a trailer for what I affectionately called the Spider Horse game.
Right. Do we remember the name of it?
Lana, Planet of Luna, and then the something. It looks great. No idea what kind of game it is. It looked like an Inside Limbo. We saw a lot of these actually at the Game Awards tonight. These 3D but 2D side-scrolling atmospheric non-verbal story platformers. I don't know exactly the specific genre I'd nailed these things down on. But it looked great. You're gonna have to Google on that one because we're not Googling it. Then we had the thing that excited Dame the most and then ultimately crushed his little heart, which of course was Persona 4 Golden Ultramax Arena Remix, which I do believe is a remake of a remake of a remake for the Persona fighting game. I just want to emphasize this. It's a 2D, Dead or Alive fighting game based on the acclaimed hit JRPG.
Right.
Because that's a thing that nobody asked for.
Right. And the backgrounds looked amazing and the characters looked like 16-bit sprites.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's the intention of a remake. I don't know. Hard to say on something that came out on the PS3. And then again on Vita. And then again now. And you know how I know that, Nate? I know that because every time there's a fucking Persona announcement, it's always one of these and not a Persona with a number. Then we had a brief musical interlude featuring Sting. That had some pretty awesome
the actual
orchestral.
show started, right?
Yeah, that's true. This was the pre-show. Then the real show started. Where we had Giancarlo Esposito presenting for the best independent game, and he actually sounded nervous. I heard him say "break boundaries" when he was reading the thing, and it's possible he was. He's probably he's a screen actor, not a stage actor. So he was probably like, Jesus shit, that's a lot of people. Oh shit, this is a real award show right now. What the fuck am I doing here? I just play all the good bad guys ever. But the best independent game actually went to Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, which Dame has played and beat and says it's got an amazing story. Is apparently the highlight of that game, apart from its wonderful art direction.
You kind of cried foul on this one. And
so on the one hand, by definition of independent game, it is an independent game. It was made independently, money was sourced independently, all that sort of stuff. It's independent. It's a brand new developer that never made a video game before. It was a studio made up almost entirely of Pixar, DreamWorks, CGI artists and stuff like that, who were like, we're amazing in art. Let's make a game out of that shit. Which is a great core concept for a studio. But, their pedigree as people is like really good. You know, like their
Mm-hmm.
their work history is like really strong, and I believe that that's how they're able to secure their funding. And maybe I'm wrong on this. I don't know. I don't know how fucking indie game works. This is just my perception of it. Thoroughly labeled as such. My quotes quote get out of jail free card. My understanding is they got $130 million to make this game.
Right.
$130 million to me, as someone who owns a business, ain't fucking indie. Like, you can hire who the fuck you want for $130 million.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
regardless
Okay.
of whatever, and how long a project goes. Like, I'm talking like, that's like a.
I guess it depends on what they define an indie studio as, because when Bungie broke from Activision Blizzard, they were technically considered an indie studio for.
Okay, so here's where I
think
personally.
they're officially still technically considered an indie studio.
Here's where I draw the line.
Right?
You are an indie video game studio if A, you have very few video game credits to your studio name or none, and B, you're generally new to the scene, and C, you like don't have a game that's like in the top 100 on sales.
Okay.
That's where I personally would draw the line for indie. So, I would say Team Meat, who's done the Super Meat Boy games, and Binding of Isaac and stuff, which is made up of two developers, Eric McNilland, who I've actually spoken to a few times in the past. He is indie. He's made many great games, and they review crazy well. But you're never going to see those games on a top 100 list. His budget is enough to get going. And I know that because he's in the fucking indie game, the movie documentary about how that shit works. That's indie.
Right.
Like, indie is not like I heard somebody saying Mercury's team, who developed Metroid Dread, they're an indie team because they're independent and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, okay, yes, they're independent, but before that they did like 4 Castlevania games. Now they did a Metroid game. Those are games that, regardless of their pedigree, are going to chart. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, Bungie being called an indie because they're no longer tied to Activision. Okay, fine. What about all that Chinese money they took? They're tied to somebody. Sure. So, all right, don't get me started on indie. My screen went off on my phone because you triggered me. But I haven't played Ken of Bread Spirits. Dame says it was well-deserved, beautiful story. He highly recommends the game.
Right.
I kept thinking they were...
And it looked great.
Yeah, and it does look great. For sure. There was something here. I didn't write it down. Oh, it was Hellblade 2.
Right.
Suna's Saga, Suna's something.
Senua's Saga.
Yeah, Senua's Saga. I have not played Hellblade 1. I need to. It's been downloaded on my console forever, to the point where it's been upgraded for Xbox Series X. That's how long it's been on my fucking console.
I believe Senua's Sacrifice won a best game sound design.
Yes, and it was specific because it was one of the early games to incorporate binaural audio into a game, and it was one of those things where, like, we've maximized it for 5.1, but the intended experience is for binaural stereo. Put a pair of headphones on for this bad one.
2017 Best Game Audio Design. 2018 BAFTA Game Award Artistic Achievement.
Yes.
2017 Games for Impact. Because of its very adept handling of mental health. BAFTA Game Award for Audio Achievement.
Yeah, it's got a lot of awards.
Yeah.
Haven't played it. Need to. I'll get to it eventually. Because
and still beautiful.
Yes. Well, especially because it got updated too. So, but yeah, no, they were showing a in-game play cinematic, and it merged between gameplay and cinematic very seamlessly. And you kept saying, fuck off, that's not a real game, until you saw the cloth physics.
Right.
And then I saw some fire.
I'm like, oh, this has got to be a pre-rendered cutscene. And then, there was some canvas blowing in the wind, and it's like, oh, okay, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
That looked horrible.
Right.
And then there were some fire effects that were like, no.
Yeah. And,
okay.
And that was announced at the Game Awards 2 years ago, that it was one of the very first games to be an early adopter of Unreal Engine 5. And boy, does it look it, because I'm telling you, folks, we have some more things to say on Unreal Engine 5 later in the show.
Yeah.
But man, when that comes, look out for some crazy photoreal shit. Just saying. So Hellblade 2 coming next year. Oh yeah, and then I showed this to Jessica, and as they stated at the Game Awards, it was to be clear, this game is called Star Wars Eclipse, and they showed this crazy ass trailer that looked pre-rendered, but they claimed that it was pre-alpha footage and rendered in engine.
Yes.
And this is important. I'm saying this because if you look at it, it looks like a crazy ass CGI trailer for some Star Wars game that clearly takes place during the Clone Wars. Except the developer is Quantic Dream. And every single dingle goddamn trailer for a video game that Quantic Dream has ever made, everybody says, oh, that's CG. And then they play the game, they go, those sons of bitches did it. Every single game. So if they say that that's real, I fucking believe it, because their artistry has been at the cutting edge for over a decade now. And we're talking Beyond Two Souls with William Dafoe, and I guess I have to say formerly Ellen Page now. The Heavy Rain, and most recently Detroit Become Human,
right?
Which is their best work in my opinion. Detroit Become Human. So the fact that we're going to get an insane story game from those fellas, I'm not overly excited about the fucking Clone Wars period because it's been covered to death. But I am excited to play a game in which I can choose stuff and stuff will happen, and that it's by them because their quality. They were doing Telltale games before Telltale games knew they were doing Telltale games. So just putting that out there. They do it at a bar that's so insane. You want to get these? Because my voice is dying awesomely.
Where were we?
We're on 5:16 p.m.
Okay.
Star Wars, and then you said a bunch of shit.
Okay. Yeah. Got a bunch of, because they like to throw as if the show's not long enough, they go in between a couple of them. Here you go, best performance, Maggie Robertson,
who is Lady Dimitru in
right.
Resident Evil 8, playing a very, very tall vampire lady who herself apparently in real life is really fucking tall as well.
Right?
What the fuck?
She's got to be at least what, 6
foot? At least 6 foot,
and that's not including the heels.
Yeah, and that's
made her look like she was 6'4".
Mm-hmm.
Especially next to the other host. So yeah, best performance went to Lady Dimitrescu.
Yeah, something like that. I haven't played the game close enough. Resident Evil 8, she's the vampire lady that people have been thirsting over.
Right. And then best action game, Returnal.
Yep, PS5 exclusive. One of their 3.
I've got the wiki up here. I want to see what that one went against.
Ooh, that's a good question.
That one went against Back 4 Blood, Chivalry 2, Deathloop, and Far Cry 6.
Okay. I mean, I've heard the team that makes that, House Marquee, which I'm a big fan of, all they do is action, and they're really, really fucking good at it. So the fact that it's, it won an award for being good at action, I believe it because that's what they do. That's what they do best, actually. We all had a big groan on this one.
Well, best art direction?
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell us the what it went up against first?
Okay. Art direction. Of course, why would the wiki be? There we go. It went up against The Artful Escape,
Okay.
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart,
Which looks like a Pixar movie.
Psychonauts 2,
which has wonderful Tim Burton-esque inspired CGI-ish looking visuals.
Kenna, Bridge of Spirits,
which looks like a Pixar thing because it's made by fucking Pixar people.
and the winner was
Deathloop.
Deathloop.
Why? No, really. And I know I've not played the game, but Dame was with us and he played the game, and even he was like, "Why?"
It's like, it's a good game, but no.
Yeah, especially not compared to what it was up against too. You know, now I would have argued, because it wasn't on the list, I would have argued in terms of games this year that wowed me graphically. And this is not me being biased. This is an honest opinion, and I could understand if you could infer bias because I've already said that it should win Game of the Year. But the art direction for Metroid Dread, I feel, deserves special mention because the Switch is underpowered as fuck, and they made that game look like a goddamn 4K masterpiece.
Right.
And it's like its design is like aggressively cool, futuristic. And it's like, oh Jesus, the fucking designs of this stuff is fucking sick. You know? Like, you know what you're looking at and you're just like, Jesus, I didn't know my Switch was capable of this, because generally it's not. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, that was a head scratcher. You know, and again, nothing against Deathloop as a game. It just, I think it was better than maybe Psychonauts 2, because Psychonauts 2, while it's cute and it's cuddly, it's probably not the best looking game of that bunch.
Sure, but I wouldn't call Psychonauts cuddly.
Well, it's got like a cutesy design.
Yeah, sure, I guess, in comparison to Deathloop that looks just like a ever so slightly stylized realism. So, whatever. Best narrative? Sorry.
Best narrative we have. This was a surpriser.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I've heard from many reviews. I haven't played it myself. I'm going to be playing it this Christmas because I got a disc for Jessica for her Christmas. So
you'll have to edit that out.
Yeah, she's not going to listen to this.
Oh, okay. Good.
She doesn't listen to this shit.
Well, I don't know. After a couple of the episodes, like, you said what?
Usually she's in the room or something. Or I'll mention, stuff we've talked about.
Right.
And then she'll be like, show me the thing.
My only thing with that best narrative being even a question was what universe you're following.
What do you mean by that, Nate?
A lot of people that did not like the narrative were only familiar with the cinematic universe. And apparently there was enough deviations from this that it turned a lot of people off.
See, now what I heard specifically against the narrative is that the game was so good, but Rocket Raccoon doesn't shut up, is what I've heard specifically. And that's like tantamount to being annoying as fuck and fuck this game because he doesn't shut up. My counterpoint to that, fully stated that I'm a comic book person and obviously an MCU person. Rocket Raccoon doesn't shut up, so that's like his character.
Right.
Would be my point on that. And I haven't played the game, as I've stated.
Yeah. This isn't Navi, right? But Navi didn't shut up and should have.
See, I mean, what I heard about the story was that the actual like overall story was fantastic. The jokes were genuinely funny, which is a legitimate hard thing to do in video games. And that the cast of not MCU people playing the Guardians did an outstanding job that made players really warm to them in a similar way to how I'm forgetting his name. Yuri Lowenthal played Spider-Man recently in the Insomniac Spider-Man stuff. And he did it, and he did it so well that you're just like, Jesus, so good. You know, you even like, it's so good, like it's good, and you forget about, oh, this isn't Robert Downey Jr. or whatever the hell, you know?
Right.
Which obviously is a hard thing if you have, you know, gravitas and people are used to people acting a certain way. And then when you don't act that way, but you act in the intention of the characters, it can sometimes break the illusion that you've set for yourself within the realm of enjoying a piece of entertainment.
Yeah, you know what? And yeah, deviate from video games for a second. What If did a very good job at that too. Whoever they hired to do the celebrity
Well, and
stand-ins, they did very good.
yeah, the stand-ins were
No, it wasn't RDJ, but the sentiment and the character still came through.
Yeah. Moving on, because it did win an award, and I'm very glad it won at least a award. Best action
adventure game.
Metroid Dread. 100% deserved. Because Metroid at its core is an adventure game and is an action game. It is literally those two pillars to a T. Because it's like that's the genre it defined and continues to define. And I would say, unfortunately, it set the bar so fucking high now for the action adventure genre that I'm furious that the fucking Mercury Steam, the folks who developed it for Nintendo, are not. They're doing some other game. They already signed a publishing deal with a was it 505 Games, and they're doing some weird shit over there. That's not a Metroid game, and I'm like, that hurts. Well, that hurts me as that hurts me as a Metroid fan. And I hear you, podcast people who are yelling at your phones right now. I've been on Reddit. I'm on Reddit, folks. I know some people are like, well, you know, they could grow the team and they could still make Metroid and do the other thing. And I'm like, yes, that's true.
But that doesn't happen very often.
Well, and I would point out that they already were a huge team when they did the Castlevania games, and then they got smaller because they fucked it up. So, but anyway, I digress. They deserve all the accolades for that. And I was actually sad that Nintendo president Doug Bowser, haha, jokes aside, had to accept the award because Mercury Steam didn't think they were going to get any recognition for their game, which is quite sad because critically and commercially, it's the best Metroid ever made.
Right?
Like, I'm a little sad that they didn't have the confidence in their own thing, having been nominated. Then they were nominated in several categories. They were in the Game of the Year category.
I wonder if like Nintendo beat them about the ears just to get this game out for some reason. That they were just like, whatever, here's, you know, we're gonna slap this together, give it to you, and then we're walking away. Maybe why they walked away.
It wasn't that kind of thing because Metroid Dread's been in development in some form or another for over a decade.
Sure.
There's a whole thing I could go on to that, and I probably have already on the show, so I'm not going to belabor the dead horse.
Yeah.
But Metroid Dread, best action adventure game, 100% deserved it. Best, most recognition a Metroid game has ever gotten publicly with this many eyes on it. So, you know.
Then we get best ongoing game, and I have issues with this category.
Yeah, go for it. Hit it up.
So in the running for best ongoing game is Genshin Impact,
which I agree with.
Final Fantasy 14,
which I agree with because it's an MMO.
Apex Legends.
I mean, it's a battle royale and they add stuff to it, I guess.
Call of Duty Warzone.
It's a battle royale and I guess they add stuff to it.
or just replace it with a whole nother game every other year. But
Uh-huh.
sure, yeah, they don't turn the servers off. And then Fortnite,
And they keep adding stuff to it, I guess. It's Battle Royale.
right? Like, if the game just keeps running, does that make it an ongoing game?
See, now, what I thought was super different about it this year was it kind of seemed like they had to do the battle royales because there wasn't that many air quotes ongoing game. Because Destiny, I think, had won it at some point in time, and then last year, No Man's Sky won it.
Mhm.
And everybody knows the story with No Man's Sky is this crazy David and Goliath. You suck, you trash, you're the worst game ever. To
Mhm.
now it has like a 93 on Metacritic and
Right.
re-reviewed, and it's like, oh, this game is absolutely phenomenal, you know, um, because it never
Sure.
stopped changing, and these changes were not, as you put it, like adding a skin or a map. They were whole gameplay features and stuff. Like
Right.
the game wasn't massively multiplayer until a few years ago. Now it is.
And sure, you might be able to argue Fortnite because they just completely flipped the engine to Unreal 5. But
Oh,
not
did
in
they?
time for the yeah, that was part of season 3, which happened
Oh, I mean, I didn't know that
a
at
week
all.
ago. Yeah.
I didn't.
So it
I didn't know
wouldn't
they
have
switched
then
to Unreal 5.
technically qualified for this year's awards, right? So yeah, like I have a big issue with battle royales or even you know what would you call it? What would you call uh it's the Blizzard game
Overwatch.
Overwatch? Thank you. Um, give it its own category. There's enough games out now that are in that space that you could award whatever best battle royale or best battle game or even best PvP game.
Sure.
Get them out of this ongoing because it's not ongoing. Adding a skin is not ongoing. I'll even say that to Destiny for a while was like, oh hey, we added a dungeon. Um,
Sure.
like the fact that it didn't make it this year with all of the changes they've done narratively, gameplay wise, I'm shocked that it wasn't even considered in the category. But in this one, Final Fantasy 14 won it, which restored my faith in humanity.
Yeah,
Has had
I'm glad something else didn't
because
win
I
it.
think in the chat itself when they're like best ongoing game, and I'm like, I bet you Fortnite wins this, and you all chuckled like Fortnite shouldn't even be in the category, and sure as shit,
Sure.
there it was.
Well, and you know why? Because it's part of the conversation.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be, unfortunately, Fortnite ain't going
Uh,
away. It's gonna be.
it
It's gonna
irritates
be
me.
there within the same sentence as Minecraft, presumably forever. Till the fucking
Sure.
developers get tired or they hand it off to somebody else or some shit.
Right.
I will say, as an aside, I am very happy that the current director of Fortnite, Donald Mustard, who previously came from Chair Games, which was an acquirer from for Epic, who previously got their start in the Advent Rising games, and then went on to Infinity Blade, which are some of my most favorite video game thingies ever. I'm very pleased that he's in a position and he seems like he's genuinely happy and enjoying himself. From that sense, I'm happy, but I don't give a fuck about Fortnite. And they put Spider-Man in and swinging and shit. Like, I still don't give a shit about Fortnite. So,
right.
Meh.
They've thrown Master Chief in there. They threw Tron in there.
Yeah, everybody's in there.
Right.
Everybody's in there except for Smash Brothers characters, but
give it time.
It's only a matter of time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Then
we had innovation in accessibility, and this was hands down. I was very happy this won it. Forza Horizon 5. They have done so much to make this game accessible to anybody who wants to play it.
I think the fact that it has a fucking signer in it, like I've never even heard of a video game that has a signer in it. That's pretty cool.
It has a signer. It has.
And to be clear, we're talking about sign language, folks.
Yes. It has the ability to literally run the game at half speed.
Oh, does it? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can crank the speed of the game down so that you can react without changing the physics of the game, without changing
Mm.
anything else, and it's still playable. It
Yeah,
has,
that's
you
that's
know,
pretty cool.
you turn all the trinkets on, and you can literally just pick up a controller and hold down the accelerator. It will auto brake for you, auto steer for you, auto do all these things for you.
Right.
Um, so as far as letting the community at large experience the game in every way, shape, and form, um, they have done everything possibly think of. So that was a
Sure.
very well deserved
Well,
award.
and I have a couple of weird slants on this. Number one, um, I have an autistic cousin, and he only plays one very specific Mario game over and over and over and over again. But you know, I like the idea that there are other things that potentially, if he didn't have that kind of
Ailment,
broken
condition.
broken circuit,
Yeah.
of needing to do the very same things over and over and over again, that he could move on to something else. And then in a completely selfish slant, I've said many times, especially earlier, like, excuse me, excuse me, like a decade ago, like if I ever lost my hands or something in some tragic accident or a construction thing, because I've been near a lot of saws, folks. I would probably fucking kill myself because I couldn't fucking play video games anymore. So on a completely selfish note, should anything horrible happen to me, which obviously I don't want to wish, and I'm sure nobody else does, hopefully, that we're evolving to a point where games where like, okay, if something happened, like maybe I could play Halo Infinite in the future in a very weird, difficult way, but there's a possibility of interacting with my favorite prosumer hobby. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I think that that's just super awesome that companies like Microsoft and especially the last couple of first party games from Sony have gone above and beyond to allow folks that have a physical limitation or even just a shitty birth defect, like the signing thing, like you could have fucked up ears, like it happens, unfortunately, and all you might know is sign, or something like that. So it's cool. I think this is gonna sound cheesy, but I think head of Xbox's Phil Spencer's statement of when we all play we all win,
Yep.
what a great mantra. Honestly.
Right. And
honestly.
I mean, get out of actual game developers specifically. Microsoft has also done
Yeah,
a lot of work.
with their specific pad thing, which
Yeah,
I'm
with their
shocked Sony hasn't copied yet.
right.
Or even like they've done a collab on it, like Microsoft makes stuff for everybody, like it, I don't know, whatever. Moving on.
The only thing that was weird about that one was they were like, so innovation and accessibility. Forza Horizon 5 also, by the way, it won sports and racing.
Yeah, best sports and racing.
Literally, in that tone, it was like right before commercial. Also, since we're talking about Forza, it also won the best sports and racing game. Didn't even mention the other competitors in the category.
To wit, I would say, I mean, I can't even think of another racing game that came out this year. So
F1 2021. Hot Wheels Unleashed.
Again.
Riders Republic.
Yeah, I guess that's technically a racing game.
Of the category, sports and racing game, only one that got nominated was not a racing game, and that was FIFA. It's FIFA.
Sure. Well, and I think at that maybe that point with Forza is Forza I think wins all the time, doesn't it? Forza's so good. It's just like, well,
either Horizon or Motorsport.
Yeah, it's one of the Forza games. They're going to win it every year because they're literally the best. So,
yeah, occasionally, like Madden does something innovative, and they go, "Okay, Madden gets it this
year." Indeed. Yeah, and then they had musician and game director Simon Viklund come up, and there was a game that I didn't know existed called GTFO.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, some extreme co-op horror game. It's been on early access on PC, but now it went live now, I guess, is what it was. I don't know. Point is, Simon Viklund, if you didn't know, he is perhaps famous and infamous for simultaneously reviving the Bionic Commando franchise and also ruining it. And I say that with all the love in my heart, being a classic Bionic Commando fan from the Nintendo Entertainment System era. His team, who was at Capcom, they made a HD remake of the original Bionic Commando, in which he did the music for, which slaps to this day. And the game is fucking perfect. He also is responsible for doing the music and directing the 2008 Bionic Commando 3D remake, which was Spider-Man with a gun, that had the most absurd plot. And this is the one that has been memed to death, by the way. This is the one where your Bionic Commando arm is actually secretly your dead wife. Yeah. Yeah, that one. And the game was one of those games where it knew what it wanted to be. The team didn't have the technical wherewithal to get there. And it was one of those games that had like way more ambition than the technical capability of both the hardware and the team was capable of delivering. The game is fun. I do encourage people to check it out, because it had realistic swinging and stuff, which, by the way, sometimes realistic swinging doesn't always work in a video game, which is why a lot of people had a problem with the game. But I had a lot of fun with it. It is broken in a lot of parts, but so it goes. So that's why I say it's simultaneously interesting fella, really good at composing. Like he's like both those scores for those games are amazing. One's like an amazing like Swedish house version of fucking Bionic Commando, and then the other's this crazy orchestral masterpiece. It's like, what? This dude's crazy talented. And I didn't know he had another game, so I need to go check out. Get the fuck out. Then we had we can probably just get these out of the way. We had two live action things that were shown that were related to video games. We'll just talk about the one that's listed on the thing here first, and then I'll get into the other two since it's also tied into a game announcement. Number one is there's the first official full-length trailer for the Halo TV series.
Yep.
Looks fantastic.
Looks like it has a Disney Plus budget. Fantastic.
Yes, it does. I even enjoyed some of the tweaks to the art design of both the Spartans and some of the machinery and world and stuff. And I saw High Charity there from Halo 2, looking way different than it did in either of the games. I say either because of original and remake, of course.
The inception of the Spartan program, so we're not. What we got in the games was well into the Spartan program.
True, and it's going to be hard to say. I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of backstory in this one, and it's probably going to follow from Halo Fall of Reach book, because that book is universally loved, not just by Halo people, but book folks as well. And then because everything I've heard about the story, which is that they'll be quote unquote doing a retelling of Halo, which includes, of course, the first game, but also Dr. Catherine Halsey, who created the Spartan program. And then I know for a fact in this TV series that it's going to have Captain Keyes and his daughter Miranda. But Miranda is apparently the daughter of Halsey with Keyes. And it was alluded to that maybe they got it on in both the books and the games. Right. So it's not completely off base.
Do you think
But
they'll
we'll
make
see.
any tie-ins to the other live-action Halo?
No, it is completely its own universe, and they've said that from the get-go.
Okay.
Everything else is Halo canon. Halo TV series is its own universe. Specifically because we actually saw a new blue team for Chief.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't have Linda and Kelly and George with him. These are 3 brand new Spartans made specifically for the show. So yeah, the trailer looks really good. Super hopeful. Chief looks like Chief. The only thing we don't know is what Chief is going to sound like.
Right.
Because we know for a fact that Jen Taylor is playing Cortana in this. And there's a different actress playing Catherine Halsey, who was originally slated to play Cortana as well. But with COVID and shooting and stuff, there was some sort of conflict and she couldn't play both roles. Sure. Because she actually does look like Cortana, like in the face. We've seen pictures. We've talked about this before. So the question is, Pablo Schreiber, who is the man under the helmet who's playing John 117 Master Chief, formerly of Orange is the New Black and Defending Jacob on Apple TV Plus, and
who did play in Orange?
Porn Stash.
Mm-hmm.
That's Master Chief.
Oh,
right. That's a double take and a half. And then he was also he was the money god in.
He's been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. And there's actually an interview with him today that I actually read about this, where he was talking about, what it means to take on the chief and the responsibility. And he said he's treating it very, very seriously because it's a Herculean task to not fuck up. What? Herculean.
There you go.
Yeah, that one. Said with love, fuck off, Nate.
That one hurt me when I heard it.
Yeah.
Roll through my ears.
Well, so it goes.
But yeah, so Halo TV,
yeah.
Fuck you, Paramount, you're getting my money.
Yep. I mean, they already have mine because of Star Trek, but I'm glad to see it.
I've been able to convince myself I didn't need it for Star Trek.
Well, now you can get both.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's looking good. I'm super stoked for it. Can't wait. Wait. But yes, it will be a question on, is it going to be his voice? We don't know anything about how John is going to be portrayed, other than we know that the suit looks nice. Fire.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Bravo, team. Moving on.
Best game direction. Deathloop.
Sure. Didn't play it. Have no idea.
Right. Went in a category against It Takes Two, Psychonauts, Ratchet Clank, and Returnal. Sure.
Yep. No idea.
Any one of those would have been fine. Dame was absolutely not surprised. To which I said, it seems to be the runaway favorite tonight. It's been in almost every category.
Yeah.
And won a few of them.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So.
There was a best esports game. It was League of Legends. Classic. Sure. Why not?
Why not?
Sure. I'll probably see Halo in that next year. I would imagine. Since
it went up against Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, Dota, and Valorant.
So the usuals.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Halo Infinite's coming for that gold next year. I'm telling you.
Yet none of those were best ongoing game. Amazing. Moving on.
Interesting.
Best family game.
It Takes Two. Now, speaking on this, and I've said this before, perhaps, it is a game about a husband and a wife who are going through a divorce, and then their child overhears, and somehow they get magically cursed into like these puppets, and they're on this insane journey with talking squirrels and murderous bees and stuff to get her their daughter to cry because only their daughter's tears can magically reverse them back to humans.
Okay.
And they're biting at each other and they dig at each other like a real husband and wife. And it's such an interesting, honest journey of that in this weird, surreal Toy Story-ish world. But the humor is so fucking dark. And it's not like, it looks like it's a kid game, but it's not. Like, they swear and say fucking stuff. And even though the game's presented in this like E for everyone, T for teen kind of thing, you know, I'm just gonna say something about the game to give people an idea of what they're in for when they play this game, which is a completely co-op split screen game that's designed to be played with your best friend or partner.
Right.
You know, you go through these different stages. Sometimes it's a third person shooter. Sometimes it's a full on top down Diablo thing with stats and shit. And other times it's a vehicle game. Like, it goes through all these different genres, but they all play well. It's like, what the fuck is this game? This game's amazing, you know, which is not what you expect when you're hopping from genre, you know. And there's a scene that I'll just unfortunately spoil for folks where, like I said, that they're on this journey to make the daughter cry, and you got to like get to the top of this castle to like, so they get it in their heads that they're gonna damage this elephant princess doll that's like their daughter's favorite. They're like, okay, well, if we like get it dirty
if we
or
break
whatever,
her favorite toy,
right? Like, we'll cry and stuff. And there's this,
yeah, they will.
There's this scene where you break into this castle, but it's all like Toy Story, right? So there's like Lego dolls and shit trying to kill you. And you get into this palace and she's like, oh, hi friends. And then the husband or wife are like, get her. And they like, they're like beating the shit out of this fucking doll. And they like punch a nail into her arm and they rip her arm off and they're pulling the fucking stuffing out. And they're like, yeah, we fucking did it. We're going to be real again. And their daughter cries and stuff, and then they don't become human. And they're like, oh, fuck, we're terrible parents. And then they're like, well, now what? It is fucking hysterical and so well designed.
Now I'm rethinking this. Why is this a family game? But then I look at everything else in the category: Mario Party Superstars, Pokemon Snap, which is, you know, any Pokemon game is basically cartoon, you know, dogfighting. Super Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury, and then WarioWare.
Probably because they didn't want to give to Nintendo another award.
Right.
For being continually the best family game company. Perhaps. Anyway.
And there was one in between there. At this point, I think I was.
Yeah, it was a best VR, and that went to
best VR
to the 100 zillionth reissue of the original Resident Evil. This time for VR. Although I have heard it's really good, so you know, whatever. I guess to each his own.
And I looked at I looked in the other things of the category: Hitman 3, I Expected to Die 2, Lone Echo 2, Ready at Dawn, and Sniper Elite VR. Yeah, those aren't, like, Hitman might be the closest title that has the clout of Resident Evil. So,
well, and Hitman 3 got snubbed entirely from the Game Awards this year. It wasn't in a single goddamn category, which is insane. Because not only does it have a really high bar of quality, and then, you know, it represents a genre that I guess doesn't really exist anymore.
Right.
The stealth action game that at this point, you know, the new Hitman games are basically also mostly open world or open giant ass level to murder people in.
Right.
Which is weird. And I think honestly, you know, probably the reason why it wasn't in Game of the Year,
it didn't really do anything.
Didn't come out until the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And it was so early, you know, it's not in the conscious mind share of Game of the Year. Because when we went into the Game Awards here, I wasn't thinking about Hitman 3. I didn't think about it until after the fact when we were talking about it now. And it's like, oh yeah. You know, for me personally, yeah, Hitman 3 is on my top 5. You know?
But apparently you were thinking about Flight Sim as best VR game. And I'm still kind of confused.
Well, not best VR, best sim, remember?
Hey.
So there's a best sim category, and What the fuck won it? Something won it.
Best sim strategy game. No, that wasn't it. Oh, yeah. Best sim strategy game was Age of Empires 4.
And I'm like, Age of Empires isn't a sim, to my knowledge. It's like a really good
strategy game.
It's a really good historical RTS. Yes?
Right.
It's not a fucking sim. The fuck?
Oh,
Forza Horizon 5 is more of a sim than that.
Humankind was in the category, Inscription was in the category, and then Microsoft Flight Sim.
All I'm saying, if we're talking about best simulator game, it's Microsoft Flight Sim. Like, I'm just saying.
Sure.
Like, those other games are not simulator games. What the?
No.
Who the fuck?
If it's not Microsoft Flight Simulator, then it's Forza Motorsport, which didn't come out.
Yeah, it's
but yeah,
so whatever.
I think that's another one of those that there's not enough sims out to really have a category.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
then they had most anticipated game. We had two different comments. Dame thought that the most anticipated games are kind of bullshit and shaky bakey. And Killer Cal, aka Daniel, who was on last week's show, was like, I feel like God of War is more anticipated than all of these games.
Right.
You know, but that's also a personal opinion. And you have to understand that, God of War is anticipated. It's only on PlayStation.
Right.
You know,
I'm not anticipating at all. I haven't anticipated a God of War game because I never owned a PlayStation.
Sure. And, next year you're getting, or is it out now? I forget. The 2018 God of War that was on PlayStation that did win Game of the Year at this very show, is on PC. It's on another platform for the first time ever. So, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's weird.
And that one was won by Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, a game that, sure, these are most anticipated, so the games aren't out yet, but I have a hard time believing that's Elden Ring is more anticipated than a Zelda game.
Right.
Zelda game, which continually charts. Breath of the Wild, which has been in the conscious mind share since it came out in 2017. There's no fucking way. Like, if it was Dark Souls 4, I'd understand,
If it was Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah, I would also understand because it's out soon. Same for Elden Ring, for that matter. But it's also just like, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't agree with it. Whatever. There's a trailer for Elden Ring.
They had a bone to pick with Nintendo.
I don't know. Maybe they did win one award, so whatever.
And then Kojima announced something completely not Nintendo related.
Yeah, then Hideo Kojima showed up. Oh, but to be clear, I wanted to throw out my zinger for the Elden Ring. I said, so Elden Ring from Software and George R. R. Martin, from the team that won't let you finish a game because you die all the time, and the writer who won't finish his books, comes Elden Ring. Yeah, then Hideo Kojima showed up, and we're like, yeah. And then he was like, now to introduce my friend, famous writer-director Guillermo del Toro. And he's like, hey, everybody, Game Awards is important. Here's a trailer for what was it? Fucking Carnival Row, fucked up Carnival Land, something, whatever it's called.
I don't even remember.
Actually, it looks really good. The movie, it's got Bradley Cooper and Ron Perlman and a bunch of fucking actors. Kate Blanchett, William Dafoe. A bunch of fucking people in it.
Oh yeah, it wasn't even a video game.
Yeah, it's a movie.
Right?
Yeah, it's a fucking movie. And we know Guillermo del Toro loves video games. We know he does. But okay,
that was
the most misplaced thing in the entire thing. I think was that trailer. There's nothing wrong with the trailer. It's just that had absolutely nothing to do with video games. Like it's. Anyway,
that says a lot right there.
I just want to say there's a thing called Synced Off World that looks cool. Multiplayer version of a single player game coming soon. Looked neat. Fucking up shit that's fucking falling on a planet. But I'm skipping over that quickly because I'm trying to get to what made more sense than the Guillermo del Toro thing is. So Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss showed up, and they're like, we're promoting The Matrix Resurrections, which is out in a week or two, which is
Mhm.
highly anticipated, and B, as movies go, it's a thing about fake worlds and code and essentially superheroes and shit. Makes more sense
Right.
at a Game Awards conference than the murder clown movie. Just saying, if we're talking about adjacent parallels, there's one right there. And then
Right.
they're like, hey, you can download exclusively on PS5 and PlayStation Series S and X
And YouTube.
and YouTube, but you can't play it on YouTube.
But if you don't have either one of those, which a lot of people don't, go to the YouTube. Just watch it. Holy.
God, what is this thing called? Hang on, I'm hitting the Xbox button right now. The Matrix Awakens, an Unreal Engine 5 experience, and what it is it's
a semi game on rails.
The semi on rails thing where you can shoot and you can like move around. I can walk around
I can walk around quick time events. Yeah,
I can walk around a city right now though.
Right.
Like I'm in the crowds with like the Red Woman and stuff. The thing about it though is it looks real.
Right.
And I'm not, pun intended, it doesn't look unreal. It looks real. And they did this thing where there was, a pre-recorded video of Keanu Reeves, and then at some point they switched to Unreal Engine 5 Keanu Reeves, and I didn't notice until at the flip of a switch he turned into his younger self from the older movies, and it still looked real.
Mm-hmm. If you're watching it on YouTube, watch the eyes. That's what clued me in. You like blinked, and that's when they did the switch, and I went, "Whoa! What just? Oh crap! That's not Keanu anymore."
Right?
Very subtle and very quick. Like, if this is what Unreal Engine 5 is bringing to video games, we're getting stupid close to fully realized simulations, right?
The only thing I can describe it as, how me and Nate talked about how crazy, is it real or is it Forza 5?
Right.
We're going to be asking ourselves now, and I did look up that announcement that you said about the new season of Fortnite officially switched over to Unreal Engine 5. And we all know Unreal Engine 5 is super powerful. But with Epic Games switching to Unreal Engine 5, that means to me, both A, now that it's on their own game, they're going to get their updates out super quick, so the engine's going to be finished very soon. And then 2, with it being finished...
Don't do that. I hate when people do that.
Do what?
You can't go from A to 2.
Did I do that?
Yes.
I'm getting distracted by these goddamn dogs. These dogs are binaural audio in my fucking house.
You've done it before where you're like 1, 2, and then C, and I'm like, no. Okay, but yes, 2.
With them finishing the engine, everybody's gonna have access to these tools,
right?
And they'll be ready for prime time. Because I'm looking around the city now. I'm just moving around the city now, and I'm like, this looks better than Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I'm sure there's lots of ray tracing in this demo. There's no way there's not lots of ray tracing in this demo because these windows look stupid. I'm looking at rain reflections.
And the only pass I'll give Microsoft Flight Simulator is, 1, you shouldn't be flying low enough that you can notice the realism of the roofs.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
2, it's pulling real-time data from satellite imagery.
True.
And then wrapping it around
it's
shapes.
It's Google or Apple mapping it.
Yeah.
For sure. Jesus Christ, how far can I go out in this city?
I don't know.
I'm just pushing forward.
I don't have an Xbox Series X or S or PlayStation 5.
I'm honestly shocked that this isn't out for PC.
Right?
I mean, yeah, you can download the engine and play around with the rock simulator, but still,
that ain't cool, yo.
Okay, so you know what's really cool right now? So I'm floating above this city here that kind of looks like New York.
You shut your face.
No, no. So what I'm gonna do is
Shut your face.
when we wrap up here, hopefully soon, because Jessica's off tonight. So Apple TV usually has these like cool flyovers of cities and stuff as their screensaver. And I have it positioned in such a way where there's like a street below, and I'm like, I wonder if when I bring her in, I'll be like, oh, look at this new screensaver. And then I'll be like, it's not a screensaver, babe. And she'll be like, oh, fuck off. Because I already showed her this thing because this Matrix thing has been downloadable since Monday. And I saw it pop up in the store and I was like, I love the Matrix. It's free. Fuck it. I'll download it. And when you downloaded it, and I tried it before, it just comes with a countdown timer until the Game Awards. And I'm like, that's fucking dumb. You know, but it's like 30 gigs. So I was like, well, it can't be nothing. So, yeah, I'm totally going to do that. And I'll let you know about it because I'm looking at it now and I'm like, this could totally fucking pass for a fucking so stupid good looking. But yeah, anyway, PS5 people and current generation Xbox people, go get it. It's free. It's cool. I do believe myself and Killer Cal, aka Daniel, said it best on our Discord. I said, PC get fucked. And then Daniel said, must be nice to have those consoles.
And then I found, and it's actually on the Unreal site. They link off to a YouTube video of it, so it's not like someone played it and
oh really? Okay, cool.
Captured it. Yeah, so it's an official one, and it will render out all the way up to 4K, which did.
Wow. It's still stupid.
it's just
yeah, it's fucking stupid. And
then we got to Game of the Year, but it looks like we might have missed a few in our respective breaks. And
yeah, there were some breaks happening there. I was eating dinner.
Yeah, and then again, they would just throw these, by the way, for this commercial.
Yeah, they had a lot of that shit.
Best community support was Final Fantasy 14. And that was, best community support. Final Fantasy 14 won over Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky.
Sure. I mean, I'll take that over most of those entries except for No Man's Sky. But it's okay because No Man's Sky won last year.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, as long as they keep doing these updates, they would deserve it every goddamn year. Because I've never paid once for a game and gotten so much content.
Right.
Every fucking year. In fact, they just came out with more content. In fact, the last content drop for the year. Yeah. No Man's Sky.
And then we had
best
role-playing game.
We also had an orchestra in the middle there with Imagine Dragons, the singer chick from Transistor, and some rapper dude who popped up playing a song from Bastion, which I thought was cool. Some people online were like, who hate Imagine Dragons, were like, you have insulted me so specifically and purposely by playing a thing from a video game I love by a band that I hate.
What are you going to roll out Nickelback next?
You know what? I'd still listen to it. The orchestra was fucking fire, though. The orchestra was fucking hitting them beats.
And it wasn't a large orchestra, which that's also...
No, it was a mid-size or mid-range. I know full range is when you have the biggest, like the full orchestra, like the 100-something piece.
This was maybe 45?
Yeah, 45, 60, maybe. Something like that. Half that, I guess, of a full range. But yeah, no, they were fucking cranking that shit. It was awesome.
Yep.
And then they did this awesome musical interlude for all of the Game of the Years, which is pretty cool. And then it was presented by last year's Game of the Year winner, which was The Last of Us Part 2, written and directed by Neil Druckmann. And then it was surprising. It surprised me, I'll be honest, because I love It Takes Two, and It Takes Two took Game of the Year for 2021. I was shocked by that because I didn't expect that to get the votes from, their secret little committee. just because, you know, like what were the games that were on Game of the Year?
Game of the year.
I
Takes Two didn't win.
thought it did.
Oh, it did win. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what are you talking-
Deathloop.
Yeah, which is
Sorry,
like,
you're right.
it's like, okay,
Deathloop, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank, and Resident Evil Village.
literally all of those except for Deathloop make sense for me as some form of Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just for like collective mindshare thing. It's like, okay, Resident Evil. Everybody said Resident Evil 8's really good, but also really short. Okay, fine.
Right.
Psychonauts,
Not a Game of the Year.
sequel cult classic. Totally see it.
Mhm.
Haven't played 2 yet because I haven't finished 1. I'll probably get to it because I play it in like Tim Schafer games. You know, Tim love. It's a weird thing. Tims know what I'm talking about. Ratchet and Clank. I know it looks gorgeous. It's Insomniac, so I know it plays good, regardless of whatever it's doing. By all accounts, they really went above and beyond in that particular game. Haven't played it myself, but you know, people are like, "Oh, this game's smooth as glass, buddy." So it makes sense, you know.
Mhm.
What was the other one?
Your hands down pick from Game of the Year.
Okay,
Metroid Dread.
yep, Metroid Dread, and then
Deathloop.
Deathloop, which doesn't make any sense to me because I've heard such mixed things about it. I've heard it's like a game that either you love instantly and it's amazing through and through, or you want to love, but the interface makes no fucking sense and nothing makes no fucking sense, even though you're in a time loop doing the same shit over and over again. So I've heard very mixed things about it. You know, and It Takes Two, while I haven't beat it yet with my wife, I've enjoyed every minute that I've played with it. Like, it's such a well-crafted,
Right.
you know, I can't think of things like when I think about it as a game in consideration for Game of the Year, I can't think of things. It's like, all right, does it run poorly? No. Does it control bad? No. Is it not interesting? You know, no. Is the music not good? No, music's really good. Like, there's not a single thing that I can think of that sticks out to me as, oh, this ruined my experience, or this wasn't perfect. You know.
Now, It Takes Two is Xbox exclusive, or
No, it's on everything, but it's on Game Pass. So that's,
you can get it on PlayStation.
yeah, you can get it on PlayStation, get it on PC, you can get it on Switch. Yeah, it's on everything, but it is, you know, free on Game Pass. So
Okay.
there you go. And I think it's one of those games where you can get one and you can get a friend code and gift it to somebody else.
Yes.
Because my understanding,
and they can only play with you, but they can still play.
Correct. But yeah, so yeah, when it won, and the game director, writer guy who came up, who's notorious for speaking his mind, he's the one who said "fuck off" to EA, even though he works for EA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's the one who said "fuck off" to the Oxers. You know, Game Awards is where it's at. The fact that he came up and was just like, "Oh, I didn't expect to win." Hello, right. You guys should have kids.
I have nothing to
They're
say,
great.
Fuck the Oscars. Yeah.
I got a baby on the way. Yeah, like his speech was fucking hilarious because it was off the cuff, obviously. And that's by his team Hazelight, and you know their team just keeps getting better and better, and they have this unique. I've said it before because me and Jessica played his prior game, A Way Out, which is also 2-player split screen, you know, buddy cop thing. And it did things in a video game I've never seen done before, particularly with the split screen shifts around so seamlessly, you know. And the same thing happens in It Takes Two, but then they take it to the next level because, you know, like I said, you're doing different things from like area to area. You know, sometimes it's a third-person shooter. You know, like there's, I think it's like level 2 in the game. It's a third-person shooter where one person has like an explosive arrow, and then the other has this gun that shoots explosive honey sap. And together, or on their own, they're weak shit. But if you shoot the honey sap on stuff, it explodes. So you're using it together as a team, you know, and everything in the game is centered around doing some sort of co-op mechanic that helps you, but they're not the usual or like I'd like to say for, co-op stuff, particularly in the 360 PS3 era, oh, move here and hold a button to boost your buddy up a fucking wall, co-op action, kind of thing. They're all inventive, so well thought out, just like, oh yeah, this makes sense or whatever. There's another level where one person can walk on walls and stuff, like, gravity boots, and then the other person goes like big and small. And you have to work together to solve these puzzles and environments, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, not only are they fun, but they're inventive. Like, this is like some Nintendo level shit that these guys are thinking of. So the fact that it won Game of the Year, the more I say it, the more I'm like, actually, yeah. Out of all of that, like, it's not my personal Game of the Year. Maybe because I haven't beat it, but for what it is, like, it's pretty phenomenal. So I think that probably brings us to our closing topic for it, since we've had all this talk this entire episode.
We missed a couple that, and again, the guy.
If you want to
flown by, we had best role playing game, Tale of Arise, and best fighting game, Guilty Gear Strive.
Okay.
And then
sure.
The player's voice, which is a 100% public voted award with a 3-round nomination process.
As Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite. Yep. He got Forza Horizon 5, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, and Resident Evil.
Now, I want to point out something about Halo Infinite winning the Player's Voice Award. All of these votes were cast before the campaign came out.
Right.
So therefore, this is entirely just based on multiplayer. That's how much people are loving it.
Yep.
Yeah. That says something. It's going to be real interesting come next year. And because I assume Halo Infinite will be on that list. For probably campaign and all kinds of stuff. Okay, cool. Did we miss anything?
I don't think we did.
Okay. So at this specific point in time, because usually at Fork in the Year, we do Game of the Year for ourselves. Usually we do it on New Year's, but, fuck it. We'll do it early this year. At this point in time, Nate, what are your games of the year? Do it by category, do it by what you've been able to play. Like, whatever.
That's tough because I don't really get enough time with a game.
Sure.
I definitely don't game as much as you.
Yes, because, I'm younger and I don't have a child yet. And
I'm older and I have 2.
Yeah. Somebody fucked up on the math equation on that one. Just saying. No offense.
Hey, none taken. Yeah, most of the games I've played, I'll get a little bit of time in it. Like, I still absolutely love Microsoft Flight Simulator, but that doesn't count for this year.
Yeah. That brings up another thing. You're right on there. So do we do it by, like, how the Game Awards do it, where it's like, okay, if it didn't come out this year, it's not considered, or it didn't come out this year and it's not,
or didn't have a significant update this year.
Yeah, it's not within the window of being eligible, like how Halo Infinite isn't eligible for any of the topics aside from People's Choice because multiplayer came out 3 weeks ago and the campaign came out a day before the fucking awards. And vote
going game.
Yep. Yes, it will.
It'll actually be, worthy of that. I'd say play it by what came out this year.
Okay.
So yeah, like my top game would have to be Forza Horizon 5.
Okay.
Let me actually pull up the list of games I've actually played.
Oh.
Anything from this year? And played a little bit of Sea of Thieves. That had a pretty good update this year with the...
Yeah, they had a huge one, like...
The Pirates of the Caribbean update.
Yeah, they had another huge one, like, last week. Mm-hmm. They had, like, fucking dice rolling and shit to the game. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? You can bury your own treasure and then also get rewarded if people find it? I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Those are fucking amazing updates.
Oh, how does that not get best ongoing game? For fuck's sake.
Right? At the very least, best ongoing multiplayer game, right?
Right.
So we got to get you and I.
I'm being petty.
We got to get a Sea of Thieves gang going or something. this holiday somehow, because Daniel's a big Sea of Thieves guy. I got another friend who's a Sea of Thieves guy. We can get a nice foursome going.
Before we forget,
yeah,
just because I remember it coming up and we didn't even talk about it.
What?
New Fall Guys.
Oh, new season's out. And then they're adding Bomberman and Kenna lady, don't know her name, and Cuphead.
Cuphead had a pretty damn good trailer.
Oh yeah, and then there was Cuphead trailer for the final DLC that's coming summer.
And then Among Us VR.
Oh yeah, and there's Among Us VR, which is an amazing fucking idea. Right. Although I'm gonna say this about Among Us, and this is gonna be controversial since it's coming out on a bunch of other platforms like next week, including Xbox. I've been playing a lot of First Class Trouble, which is an Among Us type game. Voting out whole thing, except it's 3D, and way more interactive, and you can just do more shit in it. And it's funner because it's taken it. I think we're already in a PUBG Fortnite scenario where PUBG is the originator, Among Us is the originator, and games like First Class Trouble are here doing it better, having more updates. They're taking, a similar formula and they're just fucking aping it and acing it.
Right.
Just saying. First Class Trouble's fucking hysterical. We've been playing it weekly in our Tuesday night things. People hate me for it because for whatever reason the game picks me like 90% of the time to be the killer. And then
I've never gotten to be the killer.
Yeah.
Ever.
I know on Among Us you mentioned that in the chat. Or in the voice chat, I think.
Yeah.
So it goes. Okay, so for you,
my Steam library here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Just,
So for you, it's Forza, Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Why is it Game of the Year? Because it floored you with its graphics, its presentation, because of the little
all of the above. It's
ridiculous truck racing you made me go through when we played.
See, and that right there. The dumbest thing you could possibly do, and was probably the most fun race we had that entire night. There was nothing really horribly competitive about it, and I was literally, my eyes hurt for crying, laughing so much.
Some of the dumbest things are the best things. So me and Daniel, we played, or have been playing a lot of Halo Infinite multiplayer, and it was like a week ago or something. We're playing customs because he was getting mad at getting killed by fucking randos. And so we were fucking around with the settings in customs, and there's a lot more granularity to some of the stuff you can change in customs than previous Halos. And there's one that said gravity modifier. And we were like, huh, that's a new one, and we thought maybe it was just like, oh, it just affects your jump or something like that.
No.
Not in Halo Infinite. It affects everything.
No.
We turned it to 0 like idiots. Jumped, hit the top of the skybox. And there we were, about 600 feet apart, taking pot shots at each other in the sky. And then we ran out of bullets. And we're like, well?
Should have rethought that one.
Here we are. And then we did another one where we cranked all movement speed up to 300%. And did lightning speed sword jousting. And it was just like... It is so stupid, but we were dying of laughter because we'd be like, oh, where are you in the map? And if you're standing still and they come up to you at like Sonic the Hedgehog speed, you're like, oh Jesus.
Right.
So a lot of hyperventilating, panting. It was a good time. So for me, we've already stated this, and I have played at the very least almost half of Halo Infinite campaign. But if we're using Game Awards rules, that's not eligible for Game of the Year.
Right. Until next year.
My Game of the Year.
So Metroid Dread it is?
Metroid Dread, my Game of the Year. For being so fucking perfect. It's hard to describe how perfect that game is. I've never played a 2D space movement game that controls as smoothly as, you know, we mentioned when we were in the chat with Dame how Ghost of Tsushima controls like butter and feels so fucking smooth and polished.
Mhm.
This feels that for a Metroid game. And that is saying something because Metroid games have a very specific feel. And I played a lot of the old ones before I played Dread, like in the weeks coming up to it, like a weird ritual. You know, and they have a very specific feel and they feel good, you know, but it feels like very specific. And Metroid Dread was like, okay, we got that, but we're also going to add this level of being able to control it even more than you could before, but then also polished to the point where you're just like, you feel bad when you play another game. And to put this in example, I recently played and beat Ori and the Blind Forest, which I never knew was a Metroidvania game until recently. And
because it doesn't really look like one.
Right, that's the other thing. It has the most beautiful music and art style you've ever seen. Absolutely gorgeous, super cool. And actually, speaking on that for a second, have I talked about that at all with you yet? Or am I thinking of
Ori?
something I talked about? Yeah, Ori.
We've gone over it a little bit.
Okay. Well, the gist of it is, having beat the game, loved the graphics, loved the design of the world. Yeah, I hate the ending. Controls can go fuck themselves. And the escape sequences, of which there are many, can also go fuck themselves. You know, and it's heartbreaking to play a Metroidvania style game after playing Dread, because I now know without a shadow of a fucking doubt that none of them can compare anymore. And that's including all of the previous Metroids, all of the Castlevania games that are on the Metroidvania style, you know, and anything else that's coming on the horizon. Because Mercury Steam just set the bar so fucking high. It's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. It's like if you, it's
well,
like,
again, we say this about Forza. You know?
Yeah, it's like if you've played Forza Horizon 1, right? And it's like, oh, this is a really good racing game. And then somebody gave you Forza 5, right? You're not going to fucking go back to 4, 3, and 2, you know?
Right.
You're just not going to do that. Because now you're like, oh, well, you know, these have soured over the years, you know?
Unless there was like a specific game type or game mode. Yeah, there'd be no reason to go back.
Yeah. And Metroid Dread does that for the Metroidvania formula and 2D action adventure. And it's I don't know how else to describe it other than playing it feels like you're experiencing perfection, which sounds stupid when you say it out loud, because you're just like, well, yeah, come on, right, you know, but David Jaffe played it on his stream and he couldn't figure out how to get past fucking room number 3 because he'd never played a Metroid game and he designed God of War. I'd be like, yeah, well, David Jaffe is sometimes a fucking idiot. You know, like if you like these types of games, there is none finer. And you know, and again, like it's my game of the year not just because it's Metroid and because it's Metroid 5 and it wraps up all of the stories from all of the Metroids, which is incredible that it did that, by the way. Because Metroid is not a story game. You don't play a Metroid for a story. You know, usually it's got an interesting premise or whatever. But it's like, oh, this is this story thread. Oh, this is this story thread. Oh, this is this story thread. Oh my God, this is like fucking getting good, brah. You know, like it's fucking stupid. The amount of reactions that I've watched on YouTube where people are like Metroid fans and they're just like, you know, and every cutscene is like, oh, that's really fucking cool. Oh, holy shit, that was super cool. Oh, holy shit. Oh my fucking God. Oh, Jesus. What the fuck? Like the progression is so universal in every stream that I've watched. I must have watched like 30 of them now. You know, and it's just like to see that also what I experienced, everybody else who's playing it is experiencing it. is so unique, I guess, in a way. Like, I can't describe it other than like it reminds me of the Halo 1 days where they're like, oh, it's like a first person shooter. And like, oh, really? You know, and then, you know, back in the day, and like you play it and you're just like, that was a transcendent experience. I can't play Half-Life or GoldenEye now because there's this, you know, in the same genre. You know, it's that kind of thing for 2D action and Metroidvania games. And I say that having had lots of time to reflect on it. And I still reiterate that despite me saying it's game of the year, my two biggest gripes with the game are one, in comparison to the previous Metroid game, which was also done by Mercury Steam, the final boss for me wasn't as satisfying. I didn't have a problem with like its play or patterns or anything like that. Just from a personal enjoyment standpoint, I didn't feel as satisfied kicking whomever the final boss's ass as I did in the remake to Metroid 2 that Mercury Steam did prior.
Okay.
And then the second complaint, which I've already stated before in the show, is that the music is good, but it is not as good as the rest of the series. It's like good for the game, not like I don't remember the music of the game. You know what I mean? And like Metroid, and I've said this before on this too, Metroid has some of the most iconic themes in gaming, you know? And the original composer who did those same themes worked on this. So it's also just like, was the mandate to go in a different direction? To, you know, like literally not repeat your work ever except for the end credits and maybe a little bit in the intro? Or was it like, we're going for not noticeable music? Like, you know, it's kind of hard to say, you know? And while Metroid Dread is fucking perfect in every single way, those would be the couple of things that I'm like, those things are not as perfect as the rest of the package, you know? And they're not bad, you know? They just weren't to my specific cup of tea. And in general, that also seems to be a similar sentiment. So that's what I'd say about Metroid Dread. You know, I mean, if you wanted to get into like other categories or something stupid, you know, if they still had a stealth category, obviously it'd be Hitman for sure. It's phenomenal. If we had like surprise games of the year, I played a game and I beat it in like an hour or two called X01. It's on Game Pass. Are you familiar with the old Jodie Foster movie Contact?
Yes.
Okay, you know that fucking weird ass fucking kaleidoscope scene at the end where she's fucking transitioning from planet to wherever the fuck with the aliens?
Yes.
So X01 is a playable game of that.
Okay.
In the best possible way.
Okay.
Super cool. You can beat it in like an hour or two. It's on Game Pass. Really just oddball, out of left field. I played it on a whim. I actually started it on cloud because they introduced you could start stuff from the console via cloud now.
Yeah.
And I tried it specifically. I was like, oh, well, I'll try it out on this game. Never played it. Not installing it. Sure, fuck it. And I played like half of it on the cloud. And then my internet went to shit. I was like, okay, well, I guess I need to download it now. Because I don't have gig internet like Nate boy over here. So, you know. Yeah, racing game, obviously it's Forza. I mean, there's no question it's Forza. There's also not a lot of racing games that came out this year. I don't have a fighting game pick this year because I wouldn't have played any other fighting game than Smash Brothers. And Smash Brothers already won all the awards that could be won for the Game Awards. So I don't have anything in that category. Shooter.
Right, would you count Fall Guys as a fighting game? Maybe.
No, it's a.
No. Okay.
It's closer to a Mario Party mixed with a battle royale because there's that elimination thing to it at every round.
Right.
That's pretty much, you know, I mean, it's American Ninja Warrior. It's what was the thing? American Gladiator.
Gladiators.
Yeah, American
Yeah.
Gladiator. Yeah, thank you. We made it there. We got to the same conclusion. You know, that sort of thing. If I had to say best family game, couldn't do Fall Guys. That came out last year. I don't have the new Mario Party, even though I want it. Yeah, I probably would have to go with It Takes Two, because that is what I've played with my family. You know, my wife, who loves video games but doesn't want to fucking play with me. You know, yeah, that definitely wins that award this year. Of the like 3 games I've played with her this year. You know, geez, what other fucking genres? Sim. It'd have to be Flight Simulator, specifically on Xbox, because the Xbox version did come out this year, so that counts.
That is true.
And I did play it. Let's see what else. I don't have a strategy game pick because I didn't play any strategy games this year.
Right. I have Age of Empires 4, but I actually haven't had a chance to fire it up.
It occurs to me now, I probably have that with Game Pass, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Okay, well, I should probably download that, because I remember playing 2 back in the day. Vaguely. Because I like RTSs, so I should probably give that a go.
Yeah.
I mean, the RTS I did play this year, though, was Halo Wars 2. I somehow had never beat it, and I beat it like a couple months ago. I had like a couple missions left. I know. I'm just saying in terms of things I played. It's still really good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could throw Madden on the sports pile.
Yeah.
I have played it. It does
play some Madden. See my brother-in-law playing it all the time on Xbox, so I assume it's either good or it's just the Madden this year.
I mean, it's a Madden.
In which case, both statements are probably true.
Right?
Oh, fuck. You know what we missed?
No.
And I can't believe we missed it because it's me. Sonic.
Oh.
Okay. You ain't getting away that easy, Fork fam. So we had both a trailer for Sonic Frontiers gameplay, kind of, at a distance. And then there was a movie trailer for Sonic 2 with Jim Carrey and Ben Schwartz as Sonic and Dr. Robotnik, respectively. Can't remember her fucking name, but it's the chick who's currently voicing Tails, is reprising Tails from the games, which is an interesting little wrinkle since it's the only game crossover in the voice cast, which is okay, sure. I lost my shit because it opened with the scene of fucking the Space Needle in Seattle and Sonic fucking stopping an armored car shit thing. And I'm like, that's a real street. That's a real building. I know where this is. Right. I never see that in movies that say they take place in Seattle. It's always shot of the Space Needle, then we're in Vancouver.
Right.
Always.
Or
with
Michigan. Or
always. So I was shocked as fuck because I'm a Sonic guy. I listen to stuff. Somehow this hadn't linked that it's like, oh yeah, by the way, most of the movie's set in Seattle. I'm like, what? Fucking get out of here. That's so cool. I love it. Hell yeah. Yeah, Robotnik's back. Jim Carrey's back. He's got the beard. It's still not fat yet, but he is bald. So, you know, all right, cool. We had Tails at his plane. Don't know how the fuck he got a plane, but sure. Introduced Chaos Emeralds. Hell yeah, let's go. The best, well, and probably only plot MacGuffin of the Sonic universe. And then we had Idris Elba as goddamn Knuckles, which still... It is such a conundrum in my brain when those things are said out loud. And now that I've seen the trailer, I saw the trailer twice. I saw it at the Game Awards, and then again, I forced my wife to watch it because she had to cheer with joy that it's coming out in April and not Valentine's Day, like the first movie, because now that's our wedding anniversary. And you can bet your ass I was going to haul her to the theater on our wedding anniversary to see Sonic.
Yeah.
So she's super happy. She has delayed the inevitable until April. But yeah, Idris Elba as Knuckles. I couldn't tell if he had dropped the Britishness from his voice for the role, or if it was just Idris Elba as Knuckles in the same way as it's Dwayne The Rock Johnson as Dwayne The Rock Johnson kind of thing.
Right.
Hard to say. Very, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see on that one. That's for sure. But either way, wild that we're getting Knuckles in Sonic 2. I mean, we've known it for over a year now. Since the way the first movie ends in their MCU after credits, is fucking Tails shows up out of a goddamn Doctor Strange portal.
Right.
But very wild. Looks genuinely like they are actually kind of sticking to the Sonic 2 script, which is even more impressive to me as a diehard fan. And then fuck you, trailer guy, for being a beautiful genius, because the orchestral thing that comes in at the end when they're showing the title of Sonic 2, the movie, is a goddamn orchestration of the first zone in the Sonic 2 game. And I'm just like, you're just tugging all the heartstrings, you fucking goons. I loved it though.
Crazy son of a bitch, you did it.
I loved it though. I'm very excited since I actually really like the Sonic movie. And so there's now an insane conspiracy group now that since the Sonic movie started at the very edge of the start of the pandemic, and this is coming out in April, that's when the actual pandemic will end, with like bookended Sonic movies. I'm not even kidding you. There's an insane Reddit fucking subreddit on how Sonic is somehow responsible and also the savior for COVID. It's insane. I don't even.
Okay. Well, if we get so lucky, right?
Right. I mean, if it does actually end it in April, sure, fuck it, and I'll take it at this point, right? Wouldn't anybody? Right. Yeah, and then they had gameplay from Sonic Frontiers, and it looks, knock on wood, like it's an open world Sonic game, which could be quite interesting and quite good. Dane was arguing with me actually for it, like, how are they going to do that? Like, how would you do this? To which my response, because I'm a Sonic fucking nut, I was like, well, modders have been making open world Sonic games for years, and some of them are pretty fucking good. So yeah, if Sega wanted to fucking steal some shit and DRM strike some shit, go for it. There's plenty of ideas to pluck. It appears to take place on a kind of grassy, pine foresty / mystical ruiny looking island.
Okay.
That's the best word I got for it. A lot of turquoise would be another word. And I hope it's good. I mean, this is unfortunately the curse of being a Sonic fan, is like, oh, that looks amazing, I'm totally gonna buy it on day one. But I also hope that it doesn't suck, because unfortunately the life of being a Sonic fan is got a 50-50 chance that it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
And those odds unfortunately have not gotten
any
better or worse. Because some people are like, oh, well, how do you do an open world Sonic game? I was like, oh, it'd be easy. You run really fast, and if there's a vertical thing, you have him run up it like the Flash, or how Spider-Man handles in the Insomniac games, or something to that account. To then which the immediate rebuttal is, yeah, but it's still made by Sonic Team. And polish.
And your rebuttal is, it's also made by the Sonic Team.
Right? That's the catch-22 of it all, right? Because it's also just like, so there's this game, the most famous 3D Sonic game, Sonic Generations, where they finally nailed the formula that they've been trying to do for a decade of a 3D Sonic game. It's like, oh, this is it. They fucking did it. This game is a pure joy to play from start to finish. Everything is great about the game. Side note, also recently got a 60 FPS frame rate boost and 4K boost on Xbox Series consoles. So it plays better than ever, specifically on Xbox. Just saying. And it was great. And then they had Sonic Forces, which I really loved in the story front. But boy,
ooh, sorry,
that they kind of fucked us in some of the gameplay fronts. Because it's like it's like, all right, it's the same team, it's the same style of game. On paper, it's like, all right, well, you don't fuck this up unless the levels like suck. And somehow they fucked it up. Because the jumping, you jump like a brick in that game. You go up and then you go down.
And you come right back down. Yeah.
And I don't ever remember Sonic jumping like fucking Mega Man. So, no. And I'm not saying there aren't parts of that game that are good. There are some parts of the game that are great. There are some parts of the game that are broken as shit. It didn't come out during COVID. What the fuck? So, it's the curse of being a Sonic person. But at the very least, given how the first Sonic movie turned out, I have pretty good faith that the second Sonic movie is going to be pretty good. So, especially since it looks like they're going way more ham in the actual Sonic lore and stuff than Sonic's going to San Francisco for some reason in the first movie. Sure. All right.
And now is
yeah, let's do it. Yeah, that's cool. I like it. But I'm also biased in that very specific point, not just because it's Sonic, but because I like shit taking place in Seattle. Because I've been saying forever, I love a GTA game in Seattle. Never going to get one, apparently. All right. Is that it? Did we do it?
I think we're good. I'm going to watch this Matrix Unreal trailer again.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go trick my wife. I'm actually really looking forward to it. I'm not going to lie. It'll be like, because it's funny, because for weeks before Forza Horizon 5 came out, I did this thing with her where I was like, I'd show her a picture of a car. Yeah.
Right.
Is it real or is it Forza? Now I'm going to be like, is it real or is it the Matrix?
Right. Is it real or unreal?
Yeah. But I'm also surprised that you have not taken the opportunity to be like, hey, Tim, given when we recorded this, you just said you played half of Halo Infinite. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised you haven't asked any questions of any kind.
Oh, no. I'm going into this game completely, absolutely spoiler-free. I don't want to know a damn thing about it.
And that's good.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is why I haven't
Fair enough.
Which is also why I haven't asked you to play, because you're already far ahead.
True. Well, I mean, we can't play co-op anyway.
Right, that's true.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest bummer of all. I know. We've talked about this because you wanted to do it with your wife, because it's your wife co-op game.
Yep.
Well, May, like everybody else.
Yep.
At the latest, they've said.
Yeah, I'll probably pop on it sometime tomorrow and
Are you doing
give it a whirl.
Xbox or PC?
PC.
Okay. I wish you good luck with that. Only because why would you play it on Xbox when you have a more powerful PC sitting behind you that you're using right now? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying this for everyone because I know a lot of people have played it on PC. Mm-hmm. I cannot get my fucking Halo Infinite to start past the start menu on PC, which befuddles me because I've launched multiplayer on the fucking thing.
Oh, the in-game start menu. I'm like, you click on start, you click on the game, and nothing happens.
Yeah. No. I get through all that. It's just a splash screen. You get to the, what would be, press the start button on Xbox is, press enter key, and you hit the enter key, and it spins forever. And I don't know what's broken because, as I said, I have launched multiplayer on my PC before. And in terms of maximum recommended specs, my PC hits all of the boxes. So very strange. Very strange.
Well,
I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a bug.
We speak.
I don't know. Oh, yeah. Let me know.
Looks right in. Oh, I got
yeah, you got a campaign.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got
that
Halo
little white
Infinite,
spinning
press
wheel.
Enter. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's where you get stuck?
Yep. I've tried 4 times, and I even checked the install and saw that there was an optional, download 4K assets for high-end PC thing that was like a gig or 2. Did that. As far as I know, I have all the correct files. Won't get past it on my PC for some reason. Which I assume would be fast, since my gaming PC is very fast. Because on Series X, it's like 3 seconds.
Nope,
and you're
I'm
in the
through
game.
it.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
I'm on the controller layout.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. Well, I look forward to doing a proper podcast with you about it, because I think that'll probably be our next show, won't it?
Probably.
Fair enough.
I'm looking at the calendar. Hold
on. Oh, yeah. I guess we should probably look at the calendar. Yeah, why not? Sure.
No, because it'll be Christmas.
Oh. Do we need another backup plan?
Year's. But then again, in between Christmas, I basically have the 23rd till the 3rd, or 23rd to the 2nd off. So anywhere in between.
23rd. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm off Christmas Eve to the 1st.
There you go.
So, okay, there's our backup plan. We'll do it some point after, and then we can do Christmas Halo, and looking forward to the new year kind of thing. Maybe we can even get an actual guest in on this fucking show. Who knows?
Who knows?
Alrighty.
Back.
Alrighty,
HDR,
Nate.
Brightness. All right.
I'm clicking the stop. This is the end of the show. Thanks everybody for joining our show that we do on things. In this case, the Game Awards.
Awards. If you have any opinions that differ from ours, feel free to yell at us on our respective Twitter accounts, or hop in the Discord, and we've got channels for that.
Yeah, we got channels, we got Discords, we got Twitters, we have email probably floating around somewhere, but nobody's ever used that, so.
Yeah, it's something at WW Dynamicworks Productions.
Something WW Dynamicworks Productions. Did you really just do a double W after your years of hounding me? Did you really just commit the cardinal sin?
I did on purpose.
Enjoy this moment, Fork Fam. Recorded forever in the annals of history. Okay. I'm Tim. Signing off.
I'm Nate. I'm out.
I guess we should probably say Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah.
Happy.
If we don't,
happy.
Yeah, we won't.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa.
Hanukkah's over. Hanukkah ended.
Ramadan.
Ramadan.
All the things that are holidays that occur between December 9th
Yule
and Christmas. Yeah, all that stuff. All right.
That's what happens when we do this during the workday or the work week.
Thank you for listening to a Dynamicworks production podcast. You can find our podcast at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Feel free to email us at dynamicworks@mac.com.
Dynamic Armada, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, and you're listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast.
The Citadel, Arrival, is the first installment in a series of epic science fiction short stories reminiscent of the Pulp Fiction style. It's a fast-paced story that will take you through twists and turns that you will not expect, until they are thrust upon you with all the force, excitement, and chaos of a plasma cannon blast. The story follows Katarl, a nobody cog in the working wheels of a futuristic society run completely by Megacorp, a corporation that carefully runs and manages the lives of the people living under its sphere of power. On one of Katarl's few and far between days off from work, an outing he had hoped would be fun and relaxing turns into an explosive adventure that drags him kicking and screaming into situations and challenges that will make him question every aspect of his life. Watch this colorful tapestry unfurl as Katarl and his newfound allies find their way through this classic, yet oddly surprising tale of good and evil, where nothing is quite what it appears to be. That's The Citadel, Arrival, by author Tim K. Trotter, available right now on Amazon Kindle Store and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99.
Hello.
Oh, hang on.
Something's not right.
Yeah. You can hear me though, right?
I can hear you, but I hear everything else as well.
Microphone's in the right thing. Your output is not in the right thing. Hang on. Okay, I just swapped it. Is that better?
Okay.
Okay, and then you gotta give me one more second. Because all my fucking digital plugs decided to not turn off all the fans that I have them programmed to turn off.
Oh.
That's turned off. Let me get the mini fridge. Okay.
Killer Cal going to be joining us or no?
I didn't hear him say anything. He's welcome to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't hear him say anything. Well, while that updated, I fired up that Matrix thing on my Xbox.
Oh, I watched the YouTube on it.
What
yeah.
the fucking shit, dude?
Right?
I'm watching it right now. It's just running behind me. I can't tell what's real anymore. Okay, well that
later on through it you can start
that
to
fire
tell.
explosion looked pretty fake, but Jesus Christ, the people, the textures.
Oh, did you notice like halfway through the opening sequence with Keanu, it switched?
Yeah, and then they started switching really fast between the old ones and new ones. Like, are you kidding me?
Like Carrie-Anne Moss looked fake the entire time.
Yes, I agree. Keanu didn't though.
But yeah, Keanu was like, and I'm looking, I'm like, wait, those eyes are a little deader.
Right? Also, what a fucking transition, too.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right? But man, what a technical showpiece.
Hold on.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm back. Yeah, no, that was absolutely absurd. Like,
Epic Games may be questionable leadership and business practices, but Jesus fucking fuck, do they know how to make an engine? What's awesome about this though is how good Unity's gonna get though now that they have Weta.
right.
Because we're probably gonna see shit like this in a year or two from them, and they'll be on competitive ground. Ugh, what a time! What a time to be alive.
Right.
Okay, cool. I'm rolling. Do I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Do I sound fine or do I sound okay? That's the question. Oh, that's why I can't can't even see the sound. I do not look okay on my crank up my game.
Okay.
It occurs to me, last podcast I did was with Killer Cow in the room. All right, testing. Okay, that seems okay. I think maybe.
Yeah, I had to totally turn off all of my features.
Oh yeah.
On my podcast app.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I did silent skip and
okay,
and the 1.7x, and it was just like, nope.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I was just like, God damn it! Right, he's not bumping up the game to match me.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm usually doing is I'm trying to match you. Actually,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you bump up to match me, it's all my features work, all my silent skips work, and
yeah. Okay. Okay, that's there. Jesus Christ! Let me just kick the mic again. Okay, well, let's do this and bang one out.
okay.
All right.
Scrolling. I'm getting back to the beginning of this.
Fuck. Yes, thank you. Let me do the same. I'm glad we live Discord and talked it though. That was fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's good because otherwise we wouldn't have gotten
FL.
Dame's Dame's opinions at all.
It's true.
The rat bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Scrolling back down.
Okay, I'm at my pick of Cindy Goodman. All right, let's do our cut in. Ready?
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. It's Game Award time, boys. All right.
Yep. All right. 3, 2, 1. Cut in.
Cut in.